This is the Franklin Township Public Library Trustees meeting. It's Wednesday, December 11th, 2019. This meeting is called to order. We will start with a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is being held under the Public Meetings Act, also known as the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law. The schedule and notification have been provided to the Courier News, the Home News Tribune, and the Franklin Township Clerk. Copies have been posted in the library vestibule and are also available at the reference desk. I'll call the roll now. Agnes Gulabanya?
Yes.
Iris Kislin? No. Tom Lennon? No. Nicholas, I'm here. Ed Ward? No. Kevin McNeil? No. Mayor Kramer?
Yes, Kevin is excused.
Kevin is, and NBC.
Aye.
Also with us is our director, January Adams. I'd like at this time to open the meeting to any public comment. Seeing no public comment, I'd like to close the public comment session and open discussion and approval of the minutes of our last meeting, which was November 20th. Yes. You've all gotten the minutes in your packet. Is there any discussion of the minutes? Seeing no discussion, is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented? NBC and Agnes. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's unanimous. We'll go to the director's reports. First, the operations report, which I enjoyed reading this time. Again.
And I will tell you that we've gotten, some of our patrons are so nice. This patron submitted us into a Subaru Loves Learning initiative, and we got 4 books donated to the library, and I thought that was very nice. Like I say, some people are really very thoughtful. And we had 1,483 people at 98 programs. Significantly, we had the outreach librarian go to Somerset Run, and she gave a talk, and it was good because many of the people there weren't aware of everything that we offered. So that was a productive episode that they had together. And the winter reading programs are starting. The teen starts on December 23rd, and the other ones start on January 15th. And the problems with Baker and Taylor with the books have stopped. Everything is okay. And I thought I would actually have some show and tell, because it occurred to me after I wrote that last time that maybe you weren't familiar with what I was talking about. This is how a paperback comes to us. Looks like that. Well, if you buy it in the store, it looks like this. What Baker and Taylor does is they put on these hard plastic covers. And what was happening was it would be on half of the cover, the plastic would be on half of the cover, it'd be hanging off the edge, things like that. So that's the explanation of what was going on with that. And the other books you know about with the hard covers that have, I don't think there's any in here, but you know, the traditional book with the dust jacket, with the plastic over the dust jacket. But you can see if this hung over, this could cut you.
Now the barcode is on there.
Baker and Taylor puts the barcode on.
Okay.
We put on the spine label and any other identification that we need to put on.
Okay. I have a question. I need to learn how things work here. What is technical services? Is that within our library, or is that somewhere else?
That's here.
And they would do...
Those are the people that they put the spine labels on. They catalog the books so people can find them.
Okay.
They do, it's a lot of work, actually. It's more work than you would realize. They take the books come in, they organize them, they put the covers on if they need it, and anything else that they need, and get them out on the shelves.
Thank you. I have one more question. What does it mean to D-dot a book?
You asked that once before.
I did, but I I'm sorry.
The way we help our shelvers put things back in the right places, we put dots on them. And like it has a dot on it, they'll know when they see it that it goes like in the new arrivals
Okay.
or display. And then when that time is over, like they only go out there for maybe a couple of months, they take the
Okay.
dots off.
Sorry. Okay.
That's D-dotting.
And are they color coded?
Huh?
Are the dots color
Yes,
coded?
yes, they're color coded, yes.
Would you like to
Financial?
tell us anything? I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I just want to point out the financial that these are preliminary because we had to get this stuff out to you on the 5th, so not all the bills have come in, but it's pretty close to what it should be.
There's one more thing going back to your report.
Yeah.
In noticing the main library versus the Franklin Park
It's
branch
interesting,
here,
isn't it?
the numbers are dropping here and increasing there.
I can't explain it.
You can't explain that. Okay, but it does give credence
Yes, it
to
does.
our goal of building a larger Franklin Park
Yes.
building.
Yeah.
Let's see the
So the main library, they're almost
the
all
minuses
negative.
and the positives.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed it when I was doing it, and
Okay.
I have no explanation.
Is there any questions on the financial reports? I certainly don't see any.
No.
Okay. There's no president's report at this time. Is there any correspondence and communications that anyone has received?
Yes, I gave you a very interesting article.
Let's be thankful.
Yes.
Be thankful. I thought this made a lot of good points. I really liked it a lot. So I even gave one to Anne.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any other correspondence?
No.
Okay. Is there any old business? Does anybody have any new business?
It's kind of new old business. So I come to almost every meeting except the ones like when I'm at League of Municipalities. It is desperately hard for me to get here at 5:30. I see patients, I feel rushed with my patients. So if we could make this meeting, we once tried 6 o'clock and I was voted down. How about 5:45? It would just take a lot of pressure off of me.
Would that be of any help to
That
you?
would be huge, just that extra time, that extra 15 minutes would certainly make my Wednesdays less stressful.
Okay with me.
Anything to reduce stress is...
Yeah, I don't want you stressful at the meeting.
Well,
That's not
you're
up
the
to
one
me.
who's,
It's not up to me.
you're the one who's,
Oh, it means I have to change all that. That's okay. It's okay.
what would you have to change? You-
I have
You
to change all the
did you
stuff
advertise it?
I already sunshined it, but I can change it. It's not a big deal.
For the year
Yeah.
2020, yeah.
2020.
Yeah, that has to be changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have any negative,
Well, we can try.
anyone have any negative?
The earlier for me, the better. For me,
The earlier the better?
for me, yes.
Okay.
I work at night.
Why
When do you
was
start
5:30
work?
I work
chosen?
at 11.
Why was
I go to sleep.
5:30 the time
Every
chosen?
minute.
Been that way for years. I don't remember. It's been that way since before me.
Wake up at 10.
And the mayors before me were Levine for years,
Yeah.
and he works in town, and Kelly, who works in town. So because I work in Edison, it's difficult.
Well, I was going to say 6 o'clock. That's why I'm asking that question.
Well,
But if it's,
I don't,
if you don't get.
I only need like 15 minutes would give me all I need. The earlier the better for him.
Yeah, sure.
We don't have to be married to half-hour increments. We can be flexible.
That's true.
So,
Is there a motion to change our 2020 scheduling to 5:45?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second,
Okay, I think we've already discussed it a little bit backward from normal Robert's rules, but is there any other discussion on this?
so
Motion's been made and seconded to change all of our meetings for next year to 5:45 PM, which will take a change in the notification to the newspapers and so forth. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Any abstention? Okay, this has passed unanimously. Okay.
My other new business is, you are up for appointment. I will be reappointing you. And Kevin is up for appointment every year, and I will be reappointing him.
Okay, he will be, like a one,
Right.
continue on the same status he has now.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other new business? Thank you for that information.
I understand you met with,
Yes, I would
Mr.
like
Warnock.
to,
if it's not
don't think-
negotiation, I think you can do it in
I
open.
think it's past your November 11th. I think we can discuss this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to discuss what we did Monday? Not Tuesday.
Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
It's
Oh, it was Monday.
Monday,
You're right.
Monday,
You're right.
yeah.
It was Monday. Okay. Nick and I met with Bob Vornlocker and Vince Dominic, and it was a very helpful meeting. They had some good suggestions. And one of the things we learned that the engineering firm that the architect had originally recommended, CME, we can't use because that's already the engineering firm for the township. So Vince recommended,
Why can't we use the same?
Because they would
Because they-
have to review their own work, and that's a conflict.
Oh, I see.
so Vince recommended Reynolds, and I've already talked to Jeff Reynolds, and he's going to send me out a proposal. And one of the things we went over with Bob and Vince was the order in which we do things. And actually, I'm going to jump out of sequence. One of the things we learned was Bob is insisting that Clover be kept as a one-way street. And I know there was some discussion of changing that to a two-way street, but he's not going to go for that.
I believe what my discussion was if the Board of Education wanted to make it a two-way on the east end so that people wouldn't have to exit the library and go across the school property, if they wanted it, then we do it. I don't think it makes a lot of difference to us. So,
I would have to understand why, I mean, Bob doesn't have veto power. If there's sound traffic reasons that he has, then we often defer to him because he has such a huge experience in traffic. That was his job for, I don't know, maybe a decade. But if there aren't sound and if there isn't law about it, then that's something that I guess council could entertain. We certainly would also defer to the school's desires. But not knowing Bob's argument, I don't know. He may, he's a smart guy with reasonable thought. He may have good reason for that.
He said he fought to have it one way, and it was with the school buses.
the width of the roadway to allow the school buses, it had to do with the width of the roadway and the running of the school buses. So, I personally don't care. I think that I just thought it would be a nice bone to offer the Board of Education that would enable them to reduce the traffic going in front of their building, reduce our exit traffic.
Right. Do they
Although-
seem to care?
We haven't discussed that with the board.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so what they suggested we do was get the engineer to make sure that how much land we're going to take up with the building and the parking lot. Then they also wanted us to get a traffic impact study so that when the time came to present our plans to the public,
Yeah,
we
the
can
planning board.
answer their questions, yes. And then they're also suggesting that we meet the architect, the library board, and the engineer meet with Bob and Vince ahead of the planning board to iron out any kind of difficulties. So we would be prepared for that. And he seemed to think that we could start negotiating with the Board of Education now, right?
Yeah,
Is
the
that
issue with the
what-
Board of Education is,
Careful, that might be executive.
Okay. If we don't talk about money?
I mean, I don't know what you're gonna say, just if it's something that you wouldn't want the Board of Education to know because it would change your position in,
no, the issue here is knowing how much land we would use, and that hinges on whether we use underground water retention for the flow under the parking area, or whether we take a little bit additional land and make a retention basin. Now, what Bob Vornlocker told us is that it's more expensive to do the under the parking lot.
good thing.
However, we need more land to do the other. And that means taking down more trees. So
Right.
all these factors have to be weighed in, and I think we would like to know when we go to the Board of Education how much land we're asking for, but we might also say, we need this or maybe a bit more. And we may be able to start the negotiations for land without knowing the exact number.
Well, if you have two options, you could negotiate for the two options, how much for this amount of land and that much, and then you can weigh that against the cost of doing underground.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
I don't think the price of the land is going, and Bob doesn't think that the price of the land is going to change an awful lot with a small difference in the number of acres.
Huh.
But the number of trees that come down will certainly change
Right, and that will affect the neighborhood.
the neighborhood. Yeah. So that's what we want to weigh out.
Is there anything you want to add?
I think you covered it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except to mention that the Reynolds Engineering Company, didn't he say that that's the one who's working with us on the
Youth
Lewis,
Center.
the Lewis Street
Oh.
Youth Center? So we have a good relationship with them, and they're very familiar with all of Franklin's requirements.
Good.
And that might be a plus to
And
us.
so far, he's been very prompt with getting back to me, so I have high hopes.
Timing is important because we want to make sure we don't miss out on a bonding, a state grant situation, which will be available early next year. Early, couple of weeks, maybe.
Maybe.
We want to plan a public session to introduce to the public this and let them,
Yeah, well, that's going to be a little while because we have to get something from the architect and the engineer to present at the public session.
so we have a concept plan. It's not,
We have less than we can
Okay.
go to
We
the
have the
public
concept
with.
plan, but we don't have,
okay.
I would like at least to have a picture of a building or maybe two buildings. You
When
know,
do we think we would have that?
I don't know.
Because I would want to notice this as far in advance as possible. And where would we want to have it? There's two,
to school.
that,
Franklin Park School.
so that's one option, and for obvious reasons, because that's where the new one's gonna go. There may be people at the current branch who don't want us to move. So they would want it there. We could actually have 2 hearings. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud,
Okay.
not saying it. If we were only gonna do one, I would say at the school.
I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they have some public auditorium or something.
Yeah, they do.
Did you want to see that? You weren't here last meeting. Do you want to see the concept?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
There were originally 4, and then we narrowed it down to 2, and then,
I think we've
I saw
narrowed it.
that in
Well,
the
you know,
minutes,
you
So
know.
I can just look at the 2.
I was going to talk to you about if we could reconsider number 1.
Okay.
This is not what I'm looking for.
And what was this is 1, this is 4.
Yeah.
Was there another under consideration, or?
1 and 4 are the 2
Like-
that we like. But
Okay.
move your hand.
No,
Oh, that's,
This is 1, this is 4.
because we like 1. 1 is the one.
we like, I
One.
like this one.
Oh, okay, yeah, because the parking lot is closer to the building on this one. This way, if you park here, you're walking quite a ways to get into the building.
However, the reason I like this is because it has a better open area right here. They're both, this one is drawn with more acreage than this, but I don't know exactly why.
And library here versus, why wouldn't we switch these? I guess you'd have a
Probably
longer driveway.
probably to put the driveway at the top of this curve.
That's a better place, safety-wise, or? Okay, I don't, what are let me see.
The other one, this is a bigger parking lot, but now it's in front of the building and alongside the building.
Yeah.
And this one means putting in a new road, adding a road.
Okay, so that one's out.
Yeah.
Out of question.
25, there's more spaces. Yeah. What's your question?
Nothing. Didn't say anything.
I thought you had
Yeah,
a
no
question.
question, yeah.
The number of
I said that
spaces,
out of
Oh, Agnes, you were
Oh,
here
out
with
of
it,
the
right?
No, I
question.
wasn't here, but that's, I'm following up.
And new roads.
the number of spaces is determined by the square footage of the building. So apparently they decided that 20 spaces is adequate.
25, I think it is. And
25 rather, yeah.
and the branch manager wasn't quite sure if 25 would be enough. It would be ordinarily, but if they were having a program, it might be pushing
Yeah,
it.
but see, we have
Yeah.
all this parking right here.
Yeah, but that's full. That lot was full.
Depending on the time of day.
Yeah.
Yeah. If school is in session, they might not use it, but if it's after evening,
Yeah, but if most of the children's programs are in the morning.
This one, there's a long distance, maybe because you need the turn radiuses here. And that's more parking. Of course, that's more impervious surface,
Yeah.
which means bigger retention basin. Okay, I won't.
Well, the engineer might have a different take
Yeah,
on some
that
of
might
these
change.
too. This is the architect. The engineer probably has a greater say as to the layout of the land.
Mhm.
In each case, what was drawn was a very simple 48 or 5,000 square foot building. It doesn't have to be this simple rectangle. It might be something slightly different.
All right.
Let me show them to Agnes.
Agnes will. following up with your experience. This with the 32 spaces,
Right.
is what you're thinking about? Or?
No, we're thinking of, well, Nick is thinking about, I like this
Just
one.
25.
Nick likes
This one.
that one. Or maybe other people besides
I
Nick like
think
that.
two are eliminated, right?
Yeah, the new road and the one with the parking in the front got eliminated.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. These are the two that got eliminated. So you're looking at those two.
And after the engineer gets through with it, it might look
Yep.
different than,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one was the one street, the one-way street you people were talking about?
Oh,
Eden
the
or
street right now is one way. So,
Clover?
it goes this way. So, I guess the disadvantage would be if you're leaving the library, you couldn't go out this way. You'd have to go down the street and past the school out to Claremont.
To Claremont.
Yeah.
How basic idea of that area.
I wonder if you could make a road one way for buses and two ways for cars.
I don't think you can do any of that kind of stuff.
Not legally, but you might be able to just tell the bus company, well, you'd still have to construct it two-way. Yeah, never mind.
We'll see if the school, if the board or the superintendent
Cares.
cares. Oh, by the way, it's a pre-K through 5 school, same as Claremont.
Okay.
Is there anything else to consider here? So, if nothing, I'd like to open the second portion of public comment.
No, I just like someone's financials at the end of the meeting, the financial report. If you have an extra copy after,
She wants a copy.
Okay.
that's all.
Agnes is going to give it to you.
Otherwise, I have no comment, thanks.
Okay. Well, then we'll close the public comment session, and confirmation of the next meeting date is January 22nd, 2020. But as we've decided earlier this evening, that meeting will be at 5:45 rather than the normal 5:30.
I thank you all for that.
We thank you for attending, and we appreciate your attention to this board.
And I'm going to remind you that the board has elections every January.
Sure.
You want me to go door to door with you?
The flyer?
I'm good at it.
Not in Canal Walk. Oh, gee.
Why not in Canal Walk?
That's, never mind.
Private joke?
Canal Walk often. Some people in Canal Walk, because it's a gated community, object to people
Coming in and electioneering?
electioneering, which, according to the Supreme Court, we have electioneering is, you cannot ban it. It's First Amendment.
Yeah.
So it's Canal Walk versus the 9. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? We are adjourned until January 22nd, 5:45.
What happened to the clock up there? It should be there. What happened?
There's something that goes on in this building. No clocks work.
We should
We've
have that
had, you know how many
investigated.
different types of clocks we've had?
Don't
And
bring
every
up
one of
solar.
them breaks.
Bring in batteries.
I've had atomic, I've had batteries, I've had... So, I gave up. So we can use, there's one out there. See it?
Okay,
Too
yes.
far.
Too far.
We need one here.
Very good.
How about
Everybody
a,
have a nice holiday.
Thank you, you too.
Yes, to all of you.
thank you to all of you. How about a skylight and a sundial?
Would it work at night? No.
I will leave this
Okay.
for recycling.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. My prediction is that that we're not going to meet with the whole board, but